Welcome to my channel, Engineering Lectures Made Easy. Hello viewers, today in this session we are going to discuss Banker's algorithm, which is a deadlock avoidance technique. In the previous lecture, I have discussed the algorithm of Banker's technique and also discussed an analogy of Banker's algorithm to understand the various data structures and the various steps in Banker's algorithm. So today let us solve a problem on Banker's algorithm. So here the question is a system with 5 processes P0 to P4 and 3 resources, namely A, B and C is given. So let us understand that the resource A can be referred to as a printer, resource B can be referred to speaker, and resource C can be referred to a web camera. Now resource type A has 10 instances, resource type B has 5 instances, and resource type C has 7 instances. Namely, that means resource type A, which is a printer, has 10 instances, and speaker has 5 instances, web camera has 7 instances. Now, is the current allocation in the safe state, and can the request be accepted if the process P1 is requesting 102 resources? That means it is asking one printer extra, and it is not asking any of the speakers. It is asking two resources of type C, which is a web camera. Can this request be granted or not? So moving forward, we shall see the data which is given in the question, which is the allocation table and the max table. Now towards our left hand side, which is the y-axis, we have the processes starting with P0 to P4, and the x-axis speaks about the various resources. In our case, it is a printer, speaker, and a web camera. And this table, the first three columns represents the allocation at time T0. It is a snapshot of allocation at time T0. And moving forward, the next column indicates the maximum need of the resources by each of the processes. And available is also given. If in case if it is not given, I'll teach you how to calculate the available also. And later stages, we are supposed to calculate the remaining need by the processes. Now, process P0 has the allocation like this: 0, 1 and 0. That means process P0 has not been allocated any of the printer. It has been allocated one instance of speaker. It has not been allocated any of the instances of web camera. So likewise, P1 has been allocated two printers. It's not been allocated either of speaker or web camera. So process P2 has been allocated three printers, not been allocated any of the speakers, and it has been allocated two web cameras. So P3, two printers, one speaker and one web camera. P4, zero printer, zero speaker and two web cameras. So this is the allocation table what we have to understand at a particular point of time. So the next column speaks about the maximum. Okay, so this is the maximum resources needed by each of the processes. So correspondingly, we will see how this maximum is read. So process P0 needs a maximum of 7 printers. Okay, in the system, the number of instances of printers are 10. So process P0 needs 7 printers out of 10 instances. Likewise, process P0 needs 5 instances of speaker, and in the system there are availability of 5 instances. So likewise, process P0 needs 3 instances of web camera, and the available is 7 in number. So likewise, you can read the max table, max allocation table with respect to each of the processes right from P0 to P4. So this data will be given in the question paper. So sometimes available will also be given. So after allocation of the available of the resources to each of the processes, what is the remaining available resources in hand, so that we can allocate the resources if any of the processes are requesting it. Okay, so if in case available is not given, so we should know how to calculate the available. So here let us first go with the calculation of the available if the data is not given. So let us add the instances of resource type A, which is the printer. Okay, so it will be We are adding P naught, which is not been allocated any of the printer. So 2, 5, 6, 7. So totally 7 instances of resource type A has been allocated, and here B, 2 instances of resource type B has been allocated, and C, we have 5 instances has already been allocated. Now we are having 10 instances of resource type A, 5 instances of resource type B, and 7 instances of resource type C. Okay, so we are supposed to subtract the maximum available instances in a system by the current allocation. Okay, so 10 minus 7 will give us 3, 5 minus 2 will give us 3, 7 minus 5 will give us 2. So this is how you are supposed to calculate the available if available data is not been given in the question. Now let us calculate the remaining need table. Now for calculating the remaining need, the formula is need is equal to maximum minus allocation. Yes. So the process P naught requires maximum of 7 resources of type A, 5 resources of type B, and 3 resources of type C. But at particular point of time, it has already been allocated 0, 1, and 0. Now we have to calculate the remaining need. How do we calculate that is, you have to subtract maximum allocation required by each of the resources minus the allocation. So here in the first row, we'll be filling 7 minus 0 will give us 7. Likewise, 5 minus 1 will give us 4. 3 minus 0 will give us 3. So this is the remaining need of process P naught. Likewise, we have to calculate for all the processes. So this will give us 1, 2, and 2. So next 9 minus 3. So 9 minus 3 will give us 6. And here maximum is also 0 and the allocation is also 0. So it is 0. So 2 maximum allocated is 2. So 2 minus 2 will give us 0. Next maximum is 2. Allocation is 2 will give us 0. 2 minus 2. Next 2 minus 1 will give us 1. Next maximum is 2. Allocation is 1. So again we'll get the answer as 1. So for the last process, which is P naught, so maximum is 4. It's not been allocated anything. So it will be 4. Next 3 maximum resource required, but it's not been allocated any. So it will remain as 3. Next maximum resources required is 3. Allocation at time T naught is 2. So it will be 1. So this is the first stage of how to calculate the remaining need required by each of the processes. Next, once we are done with calculating the remaining need, we have to go for Banker's safety algorithm. So before getting into the steps, let us have a quick reference of the safety algorithm. Let work and finish be vectors of length m and n respectively. We have to initialize work is equal to available. So whatever we have calculated here, which is 332, it is represented as available and we are equating it to work. So finish of I is equal to false for I 1 to n. Second step, find and I such that if finish of I is equal to false and need should be less than or equal to work. So now we are going to this step where we are calculating that whether if need is lesser than work. So if no such I exists, go to step 4. If this particular criteria has not been satisfied, we'll go to step 4. If it is satisfying, we'll go to the next step where work is equal to work plus allocation. Finish of I is equal to true, and we are going to step 2. And the step 4 speaks about if finish of I is equal to true for all I, then the system is in a safe state. So now we'll understand how to solve the numerical based on this safety algorithm. So here we are seeing that the remaining needs of process P naught is 473. According to algorithm, we have to check that whether need is lesser than or equal to the work, which I am equating it to available. Okay. So 743. So let us start writing it. So 743 3. Is it lesser than or equal to, what is the available resources we have? It is 3, 3 and 2. Okay. So now we have to keep one thing in mind, that all the three resources must satisfy the criteria of lesser than or equal to condition. Okay. So all three resources we have to check. So 7 is not lesser than or equal to 3. 4 is not lesser than or equal to 3. 3 not is not lesser than or equal to 2. So the first 743 represents ABC. Here available also ABC, which is as 332. Okay. So this is not. So whether need is lesser than available, which is 3, 3 and 2. So when we check this with respect to P1 process, so 1 comma 2 comma 2 is lesser than or equal to 3, 3, 2. Yes, this condition is satisfied. So we'll write yes here, and we'll calculate the next step, which is available is equal to available plus allocation. So what is our current available? The current available is 3, 3 and 2, 3, 3 and 2, plus what is the allocation of P1? So allocation of P1 is 200. So we are adding to the current available. So 200 will give us 5, 3 and 2. So this is our new available. Initially it was 332, but we are satisfying the request of P1. So now the new available which is calculated is 552. So this 552 we are going to consider for our next process to satisfy its request. So the next process we are considering is P2. What is its need? It is 600. 600. So you can check from this particular table. So P2's remaining need is 600. Is it lesser than or equal to our new calculated available, which is 5, 3 and 2? So here process P2's remaining need is 600. We are checking the condition with the newly calculated need, which is 532. It cannot be satisfied. So we are writing no here. It cannot be satisfied. So moving forward for the process P3. So P3 is available, remaining need is 0, 0, 1, 1. So 0, 1 and 1. So our newly calculated available is 5, 3 and 2. So we are checking the condition whether it can be satisfied. Yes, it can be satisfied. The condition is true. So we are going to the next step of calculating a new available. So available equals, available. What was our previous available? It was 5, 3, comma 2 plus allocation of P3. So we have to check with the allocation of P3, which is 2, 1, 1. So we are adding to it. So it is 2, 1, comma 1. So our new available will be 7, comma 4, comma 3. So this is our new available in the system. Next, we are moving forward for process P4. So what is the remaining need of process P4? It is 431. So we are considering it 4, comma 3, comma 1. It is less. Is it? We should check whether it is lesser than or equal to our new available, which is 4, comma 3, 7, comma 4, comma 3. Yes, this can be satisfied. So we are going to calculate our new available, which is 7, comma 4, comma 3 plus allocation of P4. So what is the allocation of P4? 0, 0, 2. So we are adding to it 0, comma 0, 0 and 2. So we are calculating a new available, which will be 7, comma 4, comma 5. So this will be a new available after satisfying the request of P4. Now, with respect to new available, we have to go back and check whether P0 or P2 can be satisfied. So, where in the initial state, we saw that P naught was not satisfied because its need was not lesser than the available. So, but now, as per our new available, the resources are as like this. So, it is 7, 4 and 5. So, we should check whether P naught's remaining need can be satisfied or not. So, P naught's remaining need is 7, 4 and 3. So, we'll write here 7, 4 and 3. So, is it lesser than or equal to, so newly calculated available 7, 4, comma 5. Yes, it can be satisfied. So, we are going to calculate our new available, which is the current available, which is 7, 4, 5, 7, 4 and 5, plus the allocation of P naught. Okay, so the allocation of P naught is 0, 1, 0. So, we are going to add with this 0, 1, 0 will give us new available, which is 7, 5 and 5. Yes, this is satisfied. Now let us go back and check which of the process was not satisfied initially. So it is next is P2. Now here in this case we have satisfied the P0 request. So P2's remaining need is 600. So we'll check with that condition. So 600, is it lesser than or equal to newly calculated available, which is 7, 5 and 5. Yes, it can be satisfied. So we'll go with the new calculation of available. So current available is 7, 5, 5 plus allocation of P2. Allocation of P2 is 302. So we are going to add here 302. Yes, it is satisfying the condition. So finally we are getting the answer as 10, 5 and 7. So this is the final set of resources what we obtained after satisfying all the requests of all the processes. So we started with 10 instances of resource type A and 5 instances of resource type B and 7 instances of resource type C. So finally we obtained the final answer as 10, 5 and 7. So here when we went back, we also satisfied the request of P2. So I'm making it as S. We have to find out the safe sequence because all the requests have been satisfied. We have to write the safe sequence. Now the first safe sequence is P1. So we satisfied P1. Next, so check with the S wherever we have written S where it was satisfied. The next is P3. Next P4. Next it is P0 or P0 and it is P2. So you might get a doubt whether we have to go for a P0 or P2. Yes, both the requests can be satisfied after solving with respect to processes in a stage where you reach P4. You can check with either P0 or P2 can be satisfied. P2 can also be satisfied and P0 can also be satisfied. So our there are two safe sequences here according to how you solve the numerical. So it is P0, P1. So it is P3. So next is P4 followed by it can be P2 comma P0 P0. Yes. So this is the safe sequence what we have generated. So here ends our algorithm of safety algorithm with respect to bankers. So moving forward for the second stage where it is resource request algorithm for a process given Pi. So here request is equal to request vector for process Pi. If request of Pj is equal to k, then process Pi wants k instances of resource type Rj. Okay, now we have to satisfy these conditions. If request is lesser than or equal to need, go to step 2. So here in step 2, if request is lesser than available, we'll go to step 3. So pretend to allocate requested resources to PI by modifying the state as follows. Available is equal to available minus request, and allocation is equal to allocation plus request. Need is equal to need minus request. If safe, then the resources are allocated to PI. If unsafe, PI must wait and old resource allocation status restored. Okay. So this is the resource request algorithm. So now we have a scenario where go to the next stage in Banker's algorithm. If P1, process P1 requests one additional instance of resource type A and two instances of resource type C. Okay. So now, can this request be granted? So that will be the question given. So we have to write down the request here. So request of 1 equals, it is asking one additional instance of resource type A. Okay. So it is 1. So it is not asking any of the resource type B. So we'll write down 0 here. So it is asking for two instances of resource type C. So we'll write down 2 here. So the first thing what we have to do is we have to check whether this particular request from additional request from P1 can it be granted. If granted, can you derive with the safe sequence or not. The first thing is we have to check whether the request is lesser than or equal to available. Okay. So what is our request? It is 1, 0 and 2. So what is the available? It is 3, 3, 2. So our available is 3, 3 and 2. Yes, it is satisfying the condition. Okay, it is lesser than or equal to available. So if this is being satisfied, we'll move forward for the next step. So we determine the safe sequence. So here we have to calculate the new need. So how do you calculate the new need for the sequence? So how do you calculate the new need is? It is maximum minus allocation. Okay. So what is our maximum? So the maximum request of process P1 is 3, 2, 2 minus what is the allocation of process P1? 2, 0 and 0. So this is the maximum minus allocation. So we are calculating the new need. So what is the maximum of P1? We'll check here. So the maximum of P1 is 322 and allocation of P1 is 200. I have substituted here. So 332 minus 200 equals 1, 2, 2. Okay. So 3 minus 2, 2 minus 0, 2 minus 0 will give us new need of P1. So after calculating this need, we are going for the next where. So here we have to go to the next step if request is lesser than or equal to need. So our new request is 1, 0, 2. Is it lesser than or equal to need? So need what we have calculated 1, 2, 2. Yes, it is satisfying. It is lesser than or equal to our need. We'll go to step 2 where we have to check with if request is lesser than or equal to available. What is our request? 1, 0, 2. Is it lesser than or equal to available? So available is 3, 3, 2. Yes, it is satisfying. So both the conditions are satisfied. Now we'll go for calculation of our available. So available is equal to available minus request. So available is 3, 3, 2 minus the request is 1, 0, 2 will give us 2, 3, 0. Yes. So 3 minus 1, 2, 3 minus 0, 3, 2 minus 2 is 0. This is our new available, which is 230 after satisfying the request from P1. After accepting the request from P1, Now we'll go for calculating allocation. So allocation of P1 is 2, 0, 0 plus, what is the request? It is 1, 0, 2. So here we'll get, so 2 plus 1, 3, comma 0, comma 2. So this is the allocation with respect to P1. Now we'll calculate need. Okay, need is equal to need minus request. So 1, 2, 2 minus request is 1, 0 and 2 will give us 0, 2, 0. This is the need. So here we have obtained the values. So we'll update our remaining need here. So the remaining need for all the other processes, which is P0, P2 and P3 and P4 will remain same. We have to update here. So we have obtained 020 as the need for process P1. So we'll update here 020, which is created newly. And what about allocation? So allocation with respect to P1 is 302. So with respect to P1, which is allocation is 302, and available we have also calculated the newly available resources are 230. So we can update it 230 with respect to allocation. So here, after this stage, we have come to a conclusion that the request from P0, P1, which is 1, 0 and 2 can be satisfied by applying the resource request algorithm. So once we are done with satisfying the request, we have to go with safety algorithm, and the procedure what I have spoken just now should be considered and solve the numerical using safety algorithm. We come up with the final safe sequence after accepting the request from P1, which is P1, P3, P4, P0 and P2. So this is the safe sequence after accepting the request from P1. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe for my YouTube channel for more tutorials on operating system and other computer science related subjects. Thank you.